Yes, ma'am.
So I have a question based on the Torah portion from this week that I was thinking about when I was reading it. So basically, you get the impression that the Lord came down to investigate Sodom and Gomorrah because the cries were great. So he sends these two angels to investigate. So what I want to know is who was crying out that he would come to investigate, because obviously there weren't even 10 righteous in the cities that would require that type of petition. And obviously Lot was clueless and had to be dragged out, and Abraham wasn't even aware of the Lord's plans because he even questioned whether or not he should tell him. So I want to know who was crying out for him to go down and investigate this in the first place. Was it a spiritual realm, or was it other nations?
Well, I kind of posed that question myself. Where were these cries coming from? Was it the cry of, in the sense that what the people were doing themselves and saying in some kind of a spiritual thing like that? When Cain murdered Abel, and God caught up with him, he said, "Your brother's blood cries to me from the ground." Is it something like that? Or, Ezekiel talks about how that the people of Sodom basically were oppressive to others, so was it the cry of the oppressed, and it really doesn't tell us exactly who. So that's why I kind of posed it as a question myself. It's kind of one of those, not sure, I could easily see how it could be the cries of those who were oppressed. Abraham wasn't oppressed by them. Abraham, was removed from them. As you said, Lot was clueless, apparently, Members of his family were kind of, it seems, locked into the whole thing that was going on there as far as the abundance and all those kinds of things. So I can see that it could very well be people who had been oppressed, who had been neglected, people who had been, based on what they tried to do when the two men came into Lot's house, abused. I could definitely see something like that, Was it that? Don't know for sure. So the question remains to some degree, yeah.